Hey guys, with all the downside action across the many market sectors, I hope you're enjoying holding out and not going long just yet in uranium. And if you are holding through this correction, hopefully you were ready for this mentally, because I know a lot of you guys are long-term investors. This is an update on UUUU, which is the Energy Fuels Incorporated stock, and URNM, which is Sprott Uranium Miners ETF, and URA, which is the Global X Uranium ETF. These charts will be available in the description below, so check out that link if you are interested. But we're going to start off with the 4 U's. And as I mentioned, just like with the overall stock market, the equity space, these 3 securities are definitely stocks. So at the end of the day, they're going to more or less correlate with what we're seeing there, just as much as they do with uranium itself. We see the same kind of thing with something like USO or XLE, to be more specific, which is the energy ETF. It represents oil companies. They do correlate with oil, but they are very closely linked with the stock market actions, movements in general. So when we look at this, we had what looked like a really nice rally, but I was definitely suspicious because of the shape we were seeing at the time. We had this purple upside continuation drawn up. We need to see this if we're going to maintain our bullish stance. But as you can see, we broke back down through our support of 677 and we smashed back down. And in some of these assets, we do have a lower low. So I'm going to delete some of this clutter just to get rid of all that. And actually this too. So right now, this just looks like a corrective wave of some sort, maybe an ABC with possibly maybe a 5th wave down completing. So when we look at this a little bit bigger picture, this was our high on April 14th. And you can count to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's got that dogleg pattern you want to see. When I say dogleg, usually you'll see the 4th wave very prominently. You'll see a big sideways consolidation, which is exactly what we're seeing here. And well, we've had the 5th wave come down lower since. It looks like we actually didn't quite get a lower low. So maybe it's a truncated 5th. When we put our Fibonacci extension tool on this thing, look at the bottom of our 3rd wave and then retrace it to the presumed 4th wave top, we got about as far as we would expect. The 0.32 to 0.61 extensions would be our ideal targets for a 5th wave down. So once again, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 3rd wave itself also subdivides. You can kind of see a 4th wave consolidation here with the 5th wave down. So this is UUUU. When we look at the other ETFs, so this is URNM, the same kind of thing. I'm going to delete these bullish patterns that we had at the time. Although we haven't officially invalidated this upside setup, this looks to me like it is a downside extension for a 5th wave. And it's the same kind of thing here. I was expecting lower and we've gotten it. And here too, you have that same thing going on, maybe a 1, 2 up here, 3rd wave, 4th wave bounce, and a 5th wave that may or may not be complete. Actually looks like we might have a little ending diagonal micro 5th here going on. So if we have that be our official pattern, let's draw the same Fibonacci's here. Yeah, we got about as low as we would expect. Again, a very deep 4th wave and a 5th wave to flush this thing off. And finally, URA, even more intense 4th wave. So usually such a strong corrective rally within a larger downside trend indicates that there is a lot of bullish sentiment that is being built up. So when this thing does reverse, I expect it to be pretty violent. It's going to be fun to watch that as it goes. But overall, we're seeing the same kind of pattern, all these, as I clean all this up. And we don't have any clear indication that we're done yet because we need to see a 5-wave rally from the bottom so far. Now, we've seen similar action in the DOW and the S&P 500 as well. This is zoomed in a little too much. I'm going to zoom out a little bit to give you guys a better idea. So we had a bottom, presumably on May 20th, and I've been going over this in many of my other videos. Looked like a 1, 2, 3, 4th wave correction. We were looking for that 5th wave to blast off higher and give us a confirmation at the bottom, but we didn't get that. We never got that 5th wave up, and we crashed back down to earth, even lower than we probably could have imagined. I know that the S&P is well below 3,700. So this is stretched the downside like a lot of us could never believe. Cryptos are doing the same kind of thing, just maximal panic, insane stretch. In short, this happens oftentimes when you have a very shallow 2nd wave earlier in the pattern. You make up for it with an unusually deep 4th wave. And we've seen that in cryptos and the stocks. And here, obviously, we're following things a bit differently in uranium. We're going to look at the big picture chart in just a second. But it looks like if we're not done, we're very close. We may have a little lower to go based on the downside projections, all that. So, well, going to have to keep holding your breath to see more upside extensions or upside continuation. So this is the big picture chart. And I know there's a lot going on, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And you can see clearly how this would have been the conclusion to our C wave. So once again, we had our major top on November 11th. So November of 2021, and we had a clear A wave down, a B wave bounce, and the B wave bounce is probably up here. I got to move that over. And this should be a C wave that is completing. And we saw closer how the C wave does look convincingly like an impulse wave. We got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and possibly a truncated fifth. Maybe we go a little bit lower. Maybe we get to that 472 number, whatever it is. I'm not totally convinced that we're going to see us go down to this box. This is what we're expecting right now. Again, 472 would be a likely lower low if we get a lower low. So that is in the 4Us. URNM, same kind of story. We got a lower low, but here too we see a bit of a truncated fifth situation, same pattern. And with URA, even deeper fourth wave. This could maybe counted as maybe this is an ending diagonal C wave, something like that. If that is the case, maybe we get a bit more of a spike down and then a sharp reversal, because that's what happens after ending diagonals. So that is what's going on in the near term. So what are we expecting next? What does the structure look like on the bigger picture? Again, nothing has invalidated. As bad as the stock market overall looks and as bad as the cryptos look, such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, which did break supports, we're not seeing the same thing in uranium. As a matter of fact, it would have been more satisfying and fulfilling if we'd actually dropped into our target retracement box. But you can start seeing some signs of bottoming. We had a big stretch of the MACD, but we've had a divergence on this latest leg of the rally or leg of the correction. And the same holds true for the other two assets too that I'm not going to dig into. So everything is set in place. May have that lower low to come. Again, this purple box, I don't think we're going to go all the way down there. We're probably going to come up a little short of that before we complete. But until we get a 5-wave impulsive rally, we can't confirm that. Now, bigger picture, longer term, this was a long-term low, just like with the oil asset class, the energy industry. That was a multi-decade low in uranium, probably very similar. And we've had a very complete looking 5-wave impulse since then. Now, the question overall is this actually the 5th wave here, or was this the actual 3rd wave top with the final 5th wave to come? We're not going to know that answer for a long time. So we're going to go with whatever we know right now. I'm assuming that this is, again, a completed 5-wave rally structure, and we're in a wave 2 right now. Although, again, because the shallowness of this retrace, it may be indicative that this is actually a 4th wave. Again, in that case, if this is just a 4th wave correction, then, well, we're going to top in this box, and then we're going to crash pretty hard. Otherwise, this is the start of a much longer and bigger bull market. So look for at least a 5-wave impulse to get us started. Our targets overhead are still $14 plus, so that's a long way up from here. And if this is the more bullish case, expect that to be just the subwave 1 that could take us up there. If we are going to get into a larger 3rd wave, we have a lot of room overhead for at least UUUU. When we look at URNM, same kind of thing. That box is where we'd expect our subwave 1 to go. Otherwise, this could also be just maybe a 5th wave top. Again, this would be the 3rd wave top, 4th wave, and a 5th wave. That is how we're counting energy and the stock market, as well as cryptos. We're looking for a final 5th wave rally. And here, same kind of thing. We could get up to possibly with $33 to $48 on whatever this is. And whatever this is, this should be a 5-wave impulsive rally structure. So again, I'm going to draw that here so you guys know what to expect. Maybe something like this. Could be about like this, 1, 2, 3rd wave, close to the box, 4th wave consolidation, and a final 5th, something like that. That is what I would expect to see. So therefore, if you're looking for a chance to buy, if you haven't already started accumulating positions, it is actually more confidence inspiring. It's a higher confidence play if you wait for this 5-wave impulse to develop, wave 1, and we have a nice 2nd wave pullback. If that happens, that will open up opportunities for not only buying more aggressively, but also aggressive call option plays that could be quite lucrative during the back half of this coming year. So we got some work to do. We're not totally out of the woods yet. We could still see some downside action. The stock market is also giving us hints that it may have a little lower to go. We might not be totally done with this. This is the S&P 500 futures. This looks like a corrective bounce so far. So maybe we go a little bit lower, meander down a little lower overnight before possibly a gap up tomorrow, maybe the next few days. Whatever the case, it looks like we are getting near a bottom, and we're much closer to the bottom than we are to a top. So no reason to panic sell. Subscribe so that you don't miss any updates, because I'll continue to update this as we go. And if you enjoyed my video, don't forget to give me a like. Till next time, thank you for watching and happy trading.